So a background on the golden rule of marketing. It's something which face-to-face salespeople have known this for decades, but it's something which we digital people, we digital marketers, small business owners, we just don't tend to get it. We don't tend to understand quite what this thing is. We think we've got this idea of how to market. We think we have this idea of how to connect with people, but we don't quite get it right. And our friends in traditional sales land have known it for decades that you have to have some kind of relationship with the customer, particularly if you're selling a big ticket item, something that's over that $100 mark, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, online coaching services, anything that requires trust. And the relationship is built, as you know, from being in relationships yourselves, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, partners. It happens over time. It happens through familiarity, and it happens with consistency. Over time, you get a chance to know someone. Through familiarity, you get to trust them. With consistency, you have doubled that trust. It means that people can understand you're going to deliver what you say you're going to deliver. So when it comes to taking time, it gets your customer a chance to really get to know you. And that gives them a chance to like you, and also a chance to feel familiar with you. When people feel familiar with you, they feel like they can trust you. When they feel like they can trust you, they will do many things with you, including buying your products, booking your services, and not necessarily being in that position where they go, who is this person? Why are they trying to sell me something? I don't even know who they are. I don't even like them. They're starting to actually irritate me to the point where I don't like them at all. So how does that come about? Familiarity is so important because familiarity breeds trust, not content, but it breeds trust. It allows for a human understanding between yourself and the customer you're trying to reach. So whether your customer happens to be someone who is a little bit edgy, not really trustworthy, this is the way you gain their trust, by becoming familiar with them. And familiarity can't be there unless they basically know who you are and have some kind of idea of who you are. And that takes a little bit of time. You are not going to sell that $28,000 product to them today. It's going to take some time. People have to think before they spend $28,000, even $3,000. Remember, there's a lot of things that $3,000 might have been earmarked for someone to spend money on other than your online coaching. It also allows others to recommend you. So if somebody feels familiar with you, they are far more likely to recommend you, not just for the trust factor, but because they know you. They feel like they go, actually, I know what this person does, and I can sincerely and honestly recommend them to someone because I know what it is they do and I know who they are. I feel familiar with them. And while recommendations do take a lot of trust, at the core of it, they come from the fact that you know that person. Oh, I know a guy. Oh, yeah, I know a woman who does that. All that kind of recommendation comes from familiarity. And the third point in there is consistency. Nothing builds trust like consistency. If you make your promises and you deliver on them again and again and again, it helps people to feel safe dealing with you. It helps people to feel comfortable dealing with you. It makes their outcomes feel predictable and it mitigates risk. You tend to go with companies that you know and like and trust because you figure that they're going to deliver because they've delivered to you before, or they've delivered for people you know before, or they've done something that's allowed you to feel safe. And that's where trust comes from. Trust comes from a place of safety, and buying comes from a place of trust. When we feel safe, we feel like our outcomes are predictable. We feel like if anything goes wrong, and thankfully, and hopefully it won't, if anything does go wrong, then we're in a position to be able to be supported, protected, and there's justice in what we're doing. And that includes in retail purchasing and in consumer-oriented activities like buying and selling. The trouble with small business is, though, that we're all in a rush to get there because we just need to make money because we need to put food on the table. We need to grow everything we're doing. So what we tend to do is get a little bit rushy, panic. We put in the buy now, shop now, do it now. I've got my sales funnel working, do it now. I can't wait for this. I need it to happen today. And we get really disappointed when it doesn't. We advertise for a month on Facebook, asking people to download our ebook now after they don't even know who you are, but you're trying to get them to know you through an ebook. but they have no idea who you are. Why would I download your ebook when I have no idea who you are? You haven't spent any time getting to know me. You haven't done anything to make me aware of you, apart from this one ad that I saw once upon a time that says, download my ebook. So why would someone want to buy now? That's what we keep making a mistake of. We keep trying to push people into a purchase that they're nowhere near ready for, because they don't know who you are. They don't know whether they like you or not. And they certainly don't trust you, because we go back to the beginning. They don't know you. They have no idea who you are. You're a brand new person in a brand new way that they haven't dealt with before. So how do we overcome that? Well, first, we've got to get past our expectations. And our expectations are locked in what we've heard on the radio and what we've seen on TV, and to a lesser degree, what we've seen on Facebook and Google as well. We want to advertise like Harvey Norman, because if they can do it, why can't we do it? Harvey Norman plays a numbers game. They will spend tens of millions of dollars on every year on advertising to reach people with a basic core message that when you want to buy furniture, bedding, electricals, or computer equipment, you go to Harvey Norman. It's the place to go. It's a trustworthy place to go. But what we want to do is play that numbers game as well, put our message out as generally and as far and wide as we possibly can, in the hope that somebody's going to see that message and go, yes, I'm going to click on the buy now button. Trouble with that is we want to do it on a $10 boost button. We wanted to spend $20, $50, maybe $100 to make that happen. The issue with all that is that it's not rooted in reality. Reality says that it takes tens of millions of dollars for Harvey Norman to do that across multiple channels: radio, television, catalogs in newspapers, print advertising, backs of buses, everywhere you go, signage on the street, real estate on main thoroughfares, so you cannot miss where Harvey Norman is. You drive past it every single day. You don't have access to the numbers they do. They have managed to buy themselves a position in the market through hundreds of millions of dollars, possibly $1 billion in advertising since they've been around, just to get to the position where they can yell and scream and talk about the sale they have every weekend. It seems no different to the sale last weekend, but it gets us going into their stores. Now, you don't realistically have the money that they do. Doesn't mean you can't operate, doesn't mean you can't advertise. It just means you have to approach your advertising in a way that's more appropriate to what the size and the scale of your business is. You can't be Harvey Norman unless you've got their millions and their storefronts and their staff and their marketing team and the Go Harvey Norman jingle and all the 30 to 40 years of brand value they've built up. I personally can't stand them. I don't shop with them because they have actually advertised so heavily to me that I don't believe a word of what they're saying. I don't understand how they can sell a television for half the price this weekend of what they sold it for last weekend, unless they artificially jacked up the price. I don't know if that's what they do, but they have a buying filter and funnel that works because they've got lots of money and lots of buying power, and all the reasons why large companies and retailers are in such a dominant position.